Today is Wednesday, the 5th of August, and coming into the market open today after yesterday, which was a follow through day across the board for all major indices. And the S&P and Dow Jones soared to new all-time highs, which is extremely constructive in terms of the rally that we saw throughout April and May continuing. The IWM nearly made all-time highs, just closed just below them, but ultimately it's held the 50-day support, a few closes below, but no follow through, and has now resumed its uptrend. The Nasdaq, which is the major indice that took the most kind of heat throughout all of this sell-off, which makes sense given the sell-off was primarily driven by tech and AI and the semiconductor space. So the fact that the Nasdaq is now trading back above its 50 is extremely constructive alongside its follow through day that it had. So ultimately, based on what price is showing me, is there's been a short term kind of correction consolidation period over the last 2 months, June and July, and now it looks like the way is being paved to the upside to return this uptrend in this bull market that we're potentially in. The one thing that I guess is a cause for concern is the fact that the 10-day is still below the 20 and the 20, and they're both below the 50, but they are starting to turn up now to the upside. So ultimately, if this is the trend continuation that I'm potentially expecting, then these moving averages will catch up with the 50 very shortly. So based on the moves that we've seen, it's definitely left me feeling optimistic, but at the same time, I'm aware that late buyers do get punished, and I'm gonna kind of jump into anything carelessly or recklessly based on what we've seen over the last few days. At the same time, if there are setups that present themselves, then it makes sense to take advantage of them based on what we saw through the March lows. This was as clean as you get in terms of a lockout rally, and so far this is looking more aggressive. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something similar. I'm not expecting similar, but at the same time I'm open to that possibility. So if setups do present themselves, then I definitely need to take them. With how my system is currently set up, because the 10-day is still below the 20, if I do take any positions, it will be with reduced size because of that fact. So until the 10-day is back above the 20, then I'll be playing with half size, and then when it's back above the 20, I'll look to take full size on any positions that present themselves. So just looking at the Kospi quickly, because that is the other major indice that took the most heat. It's holding this kind of recovery day that we had here on Friday the 31st. And even though there's been no real follow through yet, and it's currently finding resistance at the decline in 20-day moving average, it is looking more constructive in terms of this actually being a low, and for the time being, this is just a consolidation period to give the market time to recover in terms of its sentiment, and just basically have time to consolidate a little bit. Obviously, this was a massive move to the downside, so over 40%, which is huge for an index. The VIX is relatively flat and at its range lows, which is exactly what you want to see for basically upside price action. The dollar index had a little bit of relief on the Monday when the yen started to top out, but no further relief. So that is the one potential cause for concern if this does start to sell off more, and then the yen starts to spike more. That could potentially be a cause for concern for markets, and but basically based on the fact that the carry trade will potentially unwind further, and just to kind of support that process would be monitoring the bond yields. But as of right now, they're looking relatively flat. They're looking like they're stalling out. There was this attempt for a breakout on the 30-year, but it was only momentary, and this inside day was put in here, and then it's kind of sold off since. So for now, it's looking like the bond market is supporting the fact that there won't be further kind of stresses on the carry trade, but that is the one kind of thing, I think, or the biggest thing to pay attention to moving forwards, even probably more so than the Iran-US situation, because as of right now, as I spoke about on Monday, this low here and this high here were the levels that I was watching. I wanted to see if there was either continuation to the upside and these highs get tested, and then if not, I wanted to see these lows get tested and how price would react around those levels. And the fact that the price tested this level and closed straight through is definitely constructive, in the sense that I feel like this move is done and will potentially come back even further down towards these lows. Currently, the price is being supported at the 200-day, so I guess we'll have to wait and see how price kind of unfolds over the next few days. But ultimately, given where we are in terms of the year, and we're in a midterm year, and a midterm rally basically has a 100% hit rate in terms of it being a thing, it would make sense that the oil does start to just cool off and kind of settle until after the midterm elections, at least until after the midterm elections. And I'm not saying that this is the start of the rally now, but it's looking like it potentially could be. A lot of people are expecting it to begin in September time, but it could very well happen in August, which is typically a quiet month or a flat month, and statistically a slightly negative month. But it's not a sure thing. Anything can happen, and this is how things are currently shaping up for the time being. So just looking at Bitcoin quickly, Bitcoin's still holding its lower time frame moving averages as it starts to all flatten out, which is definitely constructive. Again, I'm still feeling like as of right now, this is the low, and it just needs a bit more time to consolidate and the higher time frame moving averages to catch up with the lower time frame. But again, there's no real signs of strength. So there's not signs of weakness, but there's not signs of strength. So it's not really something that I'm getting excited about as of right now. I'd really like to see an uptick in volatility and a clear, decisive move in either direction to actually look to get involved. As of right now, the daily ADR is 2.28%, which is really low. Definitely not interested in taking anything in terms of swing positions based on that as of right now. Having a quick look at market breadth, and this is what really supports kind of the bull case right now for me. Yesterday was a really strong, the day prior was a really strong day, and then yesterday again pushing higher again for the number of stocks above the 20-day moving averages, way above the 50 midpoint now. Number of stocks making new monthly highs as well. It pushed up massively from the last week's close, and is continued to push up again yesterday, similarly for the number of stocks making 52-week highs. And then just to support that further is the fact that the number of stocks making new 52-week lows is also coming down even further at 70 now, so clearly below the 100 mark and coming in towards the lower end of its range. So I guess that is one thing to pay attention to. The lower it goes, the likelihood of a reversal or some selling pressure comes in. But as of right now, things are looking constructive in terms of this being a trend continuation to the upside for equities overall. So based on everything that I'm looking at, I'm coming into the market today optimistic, cautiously optimistic, because I am aware that we have had such a strong rally off these lows, and like I said at the start, the market likes to punish late buyers, so I'm not going to come in like a headless chicken here, but at the same time it's looking very constructive given the macro backdrop, given the kind of blow up of the Situational Awareness Fund run by Leopold. Lots of things are pointing to the market having gone through its kind of flush out, its reset period, and everything's kind of lining up for this trend to continue to the upside. So I'm cautiously optimistic coming into today's session, but overall, I'm feeling quite optimistic about the direction that the market's going to go.